Right, folks, I know I've been messing around a lot with the audio on these videos for the last week or so. I'm a perfectionist, if anyone believes that. I worry about you. I have got my shiny new microphone, though, so hopefully all the audio issues we've been having, particularly on LOLLUJO 2, but we've also been having a few issues here. Hopefully those issues will be gone today. Feedback, very welcome, down in the comments. What do you think of the shiny new microphone? Please tell me it was good. It was very, very expensive. Hello and welcome to part 195 of It's Coming Home. Is it really episode 195? My word, we're nearly at episode 200. I'm Kev. Coming up on today's episode, we have a Premier League game against title rivals Manchester United, although to be fair, not so much title rivals anymore, are they? We've also got the second leg against Hibs from the first leg that you saw yesterday. We've only played a couple of games since then. We were victorious in both of them. It's fair to say Thor is in quite good form. I know people have been saying an advance forward won't work with this tactic. Well, Thor's been playing as an advance forward over that period of time where he's got, 3, 5... 8, 9 goals in 4 games playing as an advanced forward. I think we just had the wrong man doing it when we had Mira up there. Further argument probably that Mira should be playing as a complete forward, but Thor is definitely an advanced forward and definitely works in this system as an advanced forward. So all the conspiracy theories of the last few days are done. Thor is our striker. He's not what was past Kev thinking? I picked this team 2 days ago. I'm trying to work out what I was thinking. Why is Thor on the bench? Obviously, we're putting him back in, and we're going to do that. My one issue that I guess I've got, my one concern, is that Costa and Cirillo are now back, and there's no way into that team for Mira with them in there. But I guess we could. Cirillo's not fully fit. I guess we could do that and continue to play Mira out wide for this game as well. The other area where we're struggling a little bit is in central midfield. You can see we're going to have Young playing there. And that's because Cristiano is injured and he's going to be out for the next 3 weeks. Mendes is also injured. Slomer, wherever he is, I know he's injured as well. We've picked up quite a few injuries in central midfield, so Young is going to play there today. But on a more positive note, Juranovic is the latest player to do a Mick Powell. He's now almost fulfilled his potential as a 4-star player. He is officially the second best defender at the club behind Lee. He's surpassed Hervé and Beron. He was the 4th choice defender at the start of the season, but he is now very much Lee's defensive partner and is averaging a 7.43 at the moment, which is excellent stuff, and long may it continue, because the other thing that Juranovic has in his favour over Beron and Hervé is the fact that he's trained in England. He would have been trained at home if I understood how the rules worked before I loaned him out to Villa and Norwich. He was one of the very first ones of the wonder kid youngsters that we brought in, and I didn't quite understand the homegrown rules at that point. But, homegrown in England is still a positive. So, for the Manchester United game, we're going with Beckhardt in goal, a back four of Kandemil, Juranovic, Lee and Meyer, Zipancic and Young in midfield, Mira, Costa and Goff behind Thor up front. Let's get into the game. Man United are having a more challenging season than they had last time round, so I would like to think this should be a more comfortable affair than it has been in previous years. But for as good as we've been in recent matches, the majority of those haven't quite been this combination of players. Notably, Costa has been unavailable for quite a long time. And I do worry that as good as Costa is, as much as I like Costa as an individual player, perhaps Drame and Mendes offer a little bit more to the team and a little bit more creativity for the likes of Mira and Thor to then capitalise on than Costa does. Costa, remember, is naturally a shadow striker, I think. Thor's just scored again because he's in the form of his life. 19 goals this season now. Who said strikers can't work in this system? And it's a link-up play with Mira again, who I think we have to accept that for Mira to be a regular starter in this team now, he's got to convert into being an inside forward on that left-hand side, because as much as star ratings will tell you Mira is the best striker at the club, they even say Young is the second best striker at the club. Thor is now considered the third best striker at the club. I think we're all witnessing the goals that he's scoring, right? So we're obviously going to keep playing him for as long as he continues scoring at the rate he is at the moment. So Pancic looking for Mayer out wide. It doesn't find him at the first time I've asked him. It does fall free to Mayer, who crosses for Mira, and that's his 14th goal of the season now. So our two strikers, who supposedly can't score in this system, now closing in on 35 goals between them. And I think it's still only February. It might be early March. So, yes, it's not a 60-goal-a-season strike partnership, but we do play with one striker in a lone striker system. For the two players who've rotated that position to be on 35 goals at this stage of the season, that suggests the striker scores more than a goal a game in this tactic. So, actually, all that time saying that strikers didn't score was a load of poppycock, and most of you did rightly tell me that. We are running away with the Premier League a little bit this season. As it stands right now, we are 8 points clear of City, who have got a game in hand on us, and 12 points clear of United, who don't. So Man United, with a defeat today, assuming we do manage to hold on, with a defeat today and 8 games to go, I think it's safe to say Man United are out of the title race. Obviously, there's still 45 minutes where they can turn it around, and if they can turn this around and defeat us, that puts them right back in the mix. But let's be positive. Let's assume we're going to go on and win this game, in which case it becomes a race between us and Manchester City. In a race, I'd like to think we've put ourselves in a pretty strong position to go on and win. Candemill with the big, deep cross. It ends up with Mayer. There's Thor again, and I thought that had gone in for his, what would that be, 11th goal in 5 games, which is crazy form at just the right. I mean, if you had to pick like a 6-week spell of the season where you want your striker to be scoring 2 goals a game on average, you'd pick March, I think. I think March is a good solid month to score that amount of goals. Right, we've got a few changes that need to be made. Costa isn't having the best of games. Drame can come on for him. And I would like to make a change in midfield, but we don't have any more midfielders. We talked about that before the match. We could. I mean, there is an argument that any of Juranovic, Hervé, Beron, they could all come on and play a little bit deeper. But do we want to leave Young in midfield on his own? Do we really want to be messing around? Or should we just leave? I think we'll just leave the two of them on. We'll take Goff off, bring Flager on. We do still have, what is his name? Bogovic? It's not that, is it? The other guy who we thought was going to be the next. See, I can't even remember his name. That's how much Slomer has pushed on this season and become my wonder kid midfielder. But we'll go and look for that other fella who's it's not Bogovic, I don't think. It could be. I don't think it is. United now have a corner. 12 minutes left on the clock. As long as we can keep them out here, I would like to start feeling a bit more confident. Flager does play it forward towards Thor, who flicks on, and I think we should go on and win the game from here. I don't think that's too confident of me to say. I'm going to take off Mira, bring Cirillo on just to get some match fitness back into him. It's been a little while since he's played. I think that was probably my theory going into the game, that I wanted to get some match fitness back into him. But I think Man United are probably a bigger test than Hibs. Flager now is number 11 for the season for him. That man is a goal machine. There have been calls in the comments to train him as a striker, to train him as a left winger, to play as the inside forward. But, I mean, who does he get into the team ahead of? Thor, Mira, Cirillo, Goff. They're all players that are impossible to force past. And I think at a club the size of Holme, who are trying to compete in multiple competitions, I really don't think there's any harm in having 2 world-class right wingers in the same squad, because both Goff and Flager getting plenty of game time. I don't think it's the case anymore. I keep referring to him as my backup right winger. I really don't think he is. I think if we probably compared him with Goff, they've probably started a similar number of games this season. I'm going to compare them in a second just to double check. Beckett was absolutely nowhere there. I don't really know what he was attempting to do, but it didn't really matter because that's been a comfortable win over Manchester United. Let's just check what I wanted to check with these two. So Flager in all competitions has started 20 games this season, and Goff has started... Can we click on Goff? Goff has started 20 games this season. So they've actually started exactly the same number of games. I didn't realise that before I went and checked. So before this match, in fact, Flager had started more games than Goff. So, yeah, there is no first choice right midfielder. We just rotate them both a lot. They both get a lot of game time, and they're both awesome. And isn't that a wonderful world to live in? Now let's go and beat Hibs. Bogarski. His name's Bogarski. I've just given him a big new contract as well because it was about to run out. This guy, I think, if he's fit, probably needs to play against Hibs because he needs game time. And he's called Bogarski. And that is one of 2 changes for the Hibs game. Bogarski comes in for Young, who drops down to the bench. Flager coming in for Goff on the right-hand side of midfield. I'm very tempted to bring Aleth in for Candemil, but Aleth's on a yellow card, so I guess there's not much upside to bringing him in for a game like this. He is officially better than Candemil now on star ratings, but Candemil is still our club captain, so I'm inclined to keep Candemil in situ for this season. And I don't know, with Candemil being captain and team leader, part of me does think dropping him could potentially cause problems. We had that kind of issue with Sir Mick Powell when he first started dropping out of the team. It seemed to cause issues in the rest of the squad that a team leader wasn't ever getting a game. So part of me does think, especially with the financial situation at the club as well, it might not be the worst idea to look to sell Candemil this summer. I think he's 27 now, so just approaching his peak as a footballer. And I know he is a very, very good left-back, but Aleth at 21 is already better than him. Aleth is going to go on to be one of the best players in the world. And Candemil's kind of in his way in multiple capacities. But we do kind of need a backup left-back for Aleth if Candemil goes. So it's not certain yet. Thor's just won a penalty, which he's taking himself. 8 minutes on the clock, and he scores 1-0 on the night. Thor nil. It might as well be Thor nil. 4-0 on aggregate. 20 goals this season now for Thor. What is that? 12 goals in his last 6 games. That's some good form for Thor, and I've got to stop talking about form when I'm talking about that particular player, because I can't keep switching between my F's and my TH's like that. I struggle too much with it already. For goodness sake. Right. What are we going to do? I think I've probably played too strong a team in this game. I kind of forgot just how easy the first leg was. We were 3-0 up from the away leg. I don't think we needed to play a full strength team. So we probably need to be resting some players as we go into the second half. Here's Bogarski, though, who I'm very much keeping an eye on him. Mira did brilliantly to lose his player there and hits it just wide from the edge of the area. And now Hibs looking to conjure something up just as we approach half-time. They're coming down this left-hand side where hopefully Mayer's got them covered, but in actual fact the cross does make it in and Beckhardt tips it around the post. They've got a minute left of this first half to drag an equaliser. An equaliser here does kind of make things interesting going into this second half, because it gives them just a little smidgen of a lifeline. Not a huge amount of lifeline, but a smidgen of one. And Beckhardt makes the save again, and that should... If we can withstand this little spell of pressure, then I think we're good for the rest of the tie, and we have, so we should be. We hit half-time. We've dominated the match again, looking at those stats, like we did in the first leg, as you'd expect, really. Don't get complacent. Let's just have a look at everybody's fitness levels. Is there anyone who needs to come off? Probably the one that we need to keep an eye on is Flager, weirdly enough, although it's actually match fitness he's struggling for, so it'll probably do him better in the long run if his conditioning is fine, to keep him on the pitch, get some match fitness into him. And if I do feel the need to bring Goff on, he can maybe come on for right back for Mayer, which he's done plenty of times before. Beckhardt now out to Lee. This is a weird highlight. I'm not really sure why we've started where we started here, unless it's ending in a goal. Flager dancing past players as if they're not there, and then a weird little pass that doesn't really lead to anything. And again, we're back with our defenders again. Juranovic plays a ball over the top, looking for Mira. We are putting pressure on their keeper, but I don't know. I don't know why we're watching this. I don't understand what this highlight is. Are Hibs about to score? If so, you could have started this highlight way further back. We didn't need to see our 2 failed attacks, but they've just got a striker who's got his 26th goal of the season now. Remember, he's playing in Scotland, so it's like 8 real goals. Sorry, Scottish fans. But there you go. I said if they did it just before halftime, it makes things interesting. I actually think doing it just after halftime has also made things interesting, because it is still a little bit of a lifeline. Costa has just ripped the lifeline away from them. We talked about this in the last game. He might not create as much as maybe Mendes or Drame does, but neither of them can do this. And this is one of the best goals I have ever seen in Football Manager. Look at the state of that. My word. He has scored some worldies during his time at home, and now he's taking a corner and Flager's there, and it ends up with Costa again. He can probably bend it in from there, judging by what he's just done. Juranovic now. The highlight continues. There's going to be another goal here. I just don't know for who. Juranovic plays it forward to Mira again. Mira all the way back to Juranovic again, to Bogarski, who we're still trying to keep an eye on, but he's being overshadowed at the moment by world superstars. Zupancic plays it out to Mayer. Mayer with the cross to Mira, and Thor picks up the scraps. 13 goals from 6 now for Thor. 21 for the season. He is quickly turning what had been a poor start to the season into a Mick Powell-esque season with the amount of goals he's scored. We haven't had a player score goals this consistently since like prime Mick Powell. And I don't mean 27, 28-year-old in his prime. I mean like second season of the Save when he got about 40 goals, when he was playing way below his actual level. It feels like having him back again. Costa into Thor to Zupancic. What a goal. Thor turns creator now, and now it's 4-1 on the night, 7-1 on aggregate. We just needed to concede that goal to wake us up a little bit. I think it's a combination of conceding the goal and realising there was a lifeline there, and then Costa just inspiring everybody else with total brilliance with his goal, and he's been involved in everything since as well. And we've just scored 3 goals in about 12 minutes of football to just book our slot in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, which of course is where we got knocked out last year. So we do need to concentrate going into that and not have not be silly boys again and get ourselves knocked out. Lee, on a rare occasion where Lee misses one of his last-ditch sliding tackles when he's left to defend on his own, and Hibs have scored again. This is something we do need to be aware of in the Champions League. I think we do possibly have to play a different style of football, which I know we're not going to do, and I know we're not capable of, but intellectually, I know we probably should be looking into it. We're just never going to. But we do give away some silly goals when we don't need to. We're 4-1 up, 7-1 up on aggregate, and we're still pushing both fullbacks on and leaving no one protecting the defence and just leaving ourselves open to conceding goals. And it's all well and good doing it when you're 7-1 up because it doesn't really matter. But we do that when we're 2-1 up, concede late equalisers and get knocked out of Champions Leagues. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Right, Flager's going to come off for Goff. Cerelio's going to come on for Mira. That would do for now. I want to keep Bogarski on for as long as possible because I want to give him the opportunity to show me he's awesome. In fact, Candemil is tiring, so let's get Aleth that game time that we were talking about before as well. I know he's still carrying that yellow card, so it's still a little bit of a risk, but it's not a huge risk when we've got Candemil there as an option to play anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter if Aleth comes on and gets a yellow card because we'll just... Thor's picked up a knock. That's a disaster. He's in the form of his life, and now he's going to miss a couple of games and the form will be gone. It was fun while it lasted, and Alef's just scored a lovely goal as well to make it 8-2 on aggregate. I remember when Candemil used to do that. He hasn't done that really since we switched away from the diamond. He's turned creator a little bit more because he is the sole creator down that left-hand side, with whoever plays ahead of him playing basically as a second striker. But Aleth just showing what he's capable of, and then doing a little cartwheel to rubber stamp it as well, which is lovely stuff. And I don't know if we're going to get a quarter-final draw in this episode. I know last season it didn't happen immediately, so we'll just have a little look whether we're going to get it. We are going to get the quarter-final draw before the Brighton game, so we will just do a little bit of a time jump and see who we've got in the next round. Hopefully someone easy. Here we go then, quarter-final o'clock. Teams left in the competitions are Atletico Madrid, home, Manchester City, Marseille, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, Monaco and Schalke. I don't want to say it because it's tempting fate, but as a last 8, it looks winnable this year, boys and girls. I'm not afraid of anybody left in this competition. Schalke will play Inter Milan, home, at home. I would have rather been away. Ideally, Marseille, I guess, is the easiest of the options, but like I say, not afraid of anybody. And we get Atletico Madrid. I don't think we've played them with home at all. How good are Atletico Madrid these days? Currently 3rd in La Liga. Have they won it any time recently? Nope. Last time they won it was 15 years ago. Gotta believe that we're better than Atletico Madrid, which would be a semi-final against teams we could beat. Oh, I'm getting excited. So that will be the next video we'll probably do. We'll probably do both legs of Atletico Madrid tomorrow. The home leg, the away leg, and fingers crossed, semi-finals. Hold on, I'm doing some maths here because this is episode 195. So quarterfinals in 196, semi-finals in 197. We then need a couple of filler episodes. I feel like we've got to win the thing in episode 200. I'll sprinkle in some filler. I'll just do, if we get to like episode 198 and we've only got the Champions League final left, I'll just do a video of interpretive dance or something just so that we can do it in episode 200 the way clearly we're supposed to. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.